of the crucial and probably most important safety devices on a storage hot water system is the overflow valve, or the pressure relief valve. The pressure relief valve is situated at the top of the unit and typically has a copper pipe or flexible pipe that is connected to the bottom of the valve that leaks water whenever the unit is heating up. You know, if you've ever noticed water on the ground beside your storage hot water system, it's there. You know, it's there one day but not the next. It's more than likely that the overflow valve is working as it's designed to work. You know, and the design of the valve is to allow excess steam to flow out of the storage unit as water so that the unit doesn't build up steam and then explode. Well, on Monday, we considered the Apostle Paul's decision to send Timothy to Thessalonica in his place so that the Thessalonians would be encouraged in their faith. On Wednesday, we saw that not only were the Thessalonians encouraged, but when Timothy returned to Paul with the news that the Christians in Thessalonica were growing in faith and growing in commitment, their commitment to Jesus, that Paul likewise was encouraged. And today we'll see that much like the overflow valve, the pressure relief valve on a hot water system, Paul is overflowing with encouragement. And so he encourages the Thessalonians to overflow with love and with holiness. Paul writes, 1 Thessalonians 3 verse 11, "Now, may our God and Father himself and our Lord Jesus direct our way to you. And may the Lord cause you to increase and overflow with love for one another and for everyone, just as we do for you." Now, this is now the third time in 14 verses that Paul has told the Thessalonians that his desire is to see them again, so that he can share his life and the message of Jesus with them. And as I just read, Paul is praying that God will enable that to happen, that God will smooth the path for him and direct him in which way he's going to go and what he must do. And yet, because Paul knows that sometimes his plans are not God's plans, he also prays that the Thessalonians will grow in their love for each other and for their community. Now, what would that look like, do you think, for us to grow in love for each other and for our community? A couple of thoughts I have are that we would give ourselves time to pray for each other and our community, and we would make that a priority, and that we would commit time and energy to speaking to each other and our community about Jesus. Now, obviously, there are practical things such as the community pantry, and being involved in community groups, which both provide wonderful opportunities for us to express the love of Jesus. But both of those have the goal of introducing people to Jesus. And so ultimately, to grow in love for each other and our community is to pray more for people to come to faith, and to give more of our time and energy to the pantry or community group or some other avenue of connection, with the hope that it will lead to people coming to faith in Jesus, that it would lead to growth in faith for the believer and for the unbeliever to come to know who Jesus is. And yet Paul's prayer for the Thessalonians is not simply that they'd grow in love, but like the valve on the hot water service, they'd overflow with love. That the Thessalonians will be so filled with faith, or so aware of their faith, that like the steam in a hot water service, their love for each other and for their community would burst forth. Do you feel that type of love for your brothers and sisters in the Lord? Do you feel that type of love for our community? Why don't you take a minute to consider what it would look like for you to personally grow in love for your church family and for your community. And then spend another minute and consider what it would look like for you to overflow in love for each other and for our community. Then spend some time in prayer and ask God to help you to grow in love and to overflow with love.